right, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's only a handful of you here so far. Ooh, Xavier's early today. Good morning, good morning. All right, we are in the unit in Canvas called Toxicology. We should be on the second unit, Techniques Used in Toxicology. Last class, we watched two of the toxicology presentations. We'll do the third one today. Uh, Read those pages over while we wait for folks to come in. There's only a handful of you in so far. Appreciate y'all being on time.
Stop researching with ChatGPT. Its information is not reliable.
All right. Good morning to those of you who just came in. Uh, we are looking, we're in Canvas. We're looking over the unit that says Techniques Using Toxicology. It's kind of a follow-up to the part 2 video that we watched the other day. She did talk about some testing techniques and the names of the tests and the color results that you would get. So please take a look at that again while we are waiting for folks to come in. All right, again, good morning. Good morning. If you just came in, we are in Canvas. We are looking at techniques used in toxicology. And again, the video that we watched the other day covered this. The videos are in the playlist. So if you need to watch them again, they are there. We're going to watch the third part today, talking about our next unit. We're gonna get to that one, but for today, let's see, we got, give it another minute. Good morning, Neve. We're in Canvas and toxicology. Alrighty. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the part 3. Again, I do appreciate those of you who come on time.
This is part 3 of our forensic toxicology lesson, where we discuss the effects of alcohol and how alcohol is tested for in a toxicological framework. So let's talk a little bit about alcohol and toxicology. Now we're going to talk about this because alcohol is involved in many vehicular deaths, and testing for alcohol in the bloodstream is of vital importance to the toxicologist. So, here are some factors that affect alcohol absorption when consumed by a human. Time of consumption. Type of alcoholic beverage consumed. Presence of food in the stomach. By type of beverage, we mean ABV, or alcohol by volume. A high alcohol beverage will obviously increase the alcohol absorption compared to something with a lower alcohol content. So, in this graphic, this is based on a study done in 1968, but I have to say the data still stands. On the green line, you see the results of blood tests of alcohol after an individual had a meal of potatoes, but before they started drinking. So these individuals ate, I believe the data was 16 ounces of potatoes, and then were given 2 ounces of pure grain alcohol, essentially 5 drinks all at once. And the green line.
Oops, I paused it. All right, well, since I paused it, good morning if you just came in. But I'd like for you all to take some notes. So if you haven't, you can pick up for where you left off. You were taking notes on a paper before. This is still testing. And so we're just write factors that affect alcohol absorption. And you don't have to draw the graph. You just have to write the 3 points. So I'm going to pause it here for a minute. The factors that affect alcohol absorption. Time of consumption, time of alcoholic beverage, and the ABV is alcohol by volume, and the presence of food in the stomach. Those are the 3 things. And she's in the process of showing you the difference between having a drink with food and having a drink with no food. So I will stop it from time to time for you to write some things down. So please write the things down. Wednesday, we'll do a short quiz on toxicology. And it'll mostly be about how to test for different drugs, the results that you're looking for, and things like this, factors that affect what they will find in your blood.
Is the absorption of that alcohol in the body. The red line that you see there was the same amount of alcohol, but given on an empty stomach. You see the increase in blood alcohol content is much quicker, and the decrease takes a much longer time. What are 2 factors that affect alcohol absorption in the body?
All right, and you all have the answer to that because you just wrote down 3.
Excellent. If you said time or rate of consumption, type of beverage, or presence of food in the stomach, you would be correct. So let's talk a little bit about alcohol intoxication, because that's a little bit different from absorption. So, alcohol intoxication depends on the amount of alcohol consumed, the rate of consumption, the body weight of the individual consuming the alcohol. Someone who only weighs 100 pounds, they'll become much more intoxicated by the same amount of alcohol compared to somebody who weighs 200 pounds.
All right, I'm going to write down what it says. Alcohol intoxication depends on three things. So everybody can't drink the same, is what they're trying to say. So the amount of alcohol consumed, how fast you consume it, and how much you weigh. Good morning, Kenzie. We're taking notes. We're watching this video, Toxicology of Alcohol. We're writing down factors that affect alcohol consumption. All right, so again, alcohol intoxication, how fast it will make you drunk. Depends on how much you drink, how fast you drink it, and how much you weigh.
The rate of the alcohol absorption
and rate of alcohol absorption. 4 things. And again, that last one has a lot to do with the previous slide. Whether you've eaten or not, what is it being absorbed by? Is it being absorbed by the food in your stomach or nothing? So how fast it is absorbed into the body, into the bloodstream, will depend on the things you wrote earlier.
Meaning, was there food in the stomach or was there not? What type of alcohol was consumed? What happens to alcohol once it's in the body? Well, alcohol is primarily absorbed into the bloodstream, and then it's distributed throughout the entire body through the bloodstream into the body's water. This is one of the reasons why alcohol affects the nervous system so strongly, because your brain is actually 80% water. It has a higher water content than any other body tissue. So alcohol tends to preferentially affect your brain and your neurological systems. Finally, alcohol is eliminated through both oxidation in the liver using alcohol dehydrogenase and excretion in the sweat and the breath. So alcohol is initially absorbed through your stomach and intestines when consumed. Once it's absorbed into the bloodstream through the stomach and intestines, it's oxidized in the liver by an enzyme called alcohol dehydrogenase. The alcohol dehydrogenase is actually seeking to turn the alcohol into a less toxic form, and the thing it turns it into is acetic acid or vinegar, because that is less toxic to the body than the alcohol. Now, specific alcohol we're talking about here is ethanol. I'm going to have you watch a little video clip about what happens when people used to consume methanol during Prohibition, because the effects were very different and much more deadly. Now, the products of this oxidation are excreted by the body, by the breath, by perspiration, and kidneys. And essentially it's turned into carbon dioxide and water over time, because that acetic acid is broken down and turned into sugars in your body. So let's talk lastly a little bit about New York State DWI laws, since we are here in New York State. So New York State uses BAC, or blood alcohol concentration, to determine intoxication levels. If someone is pulled over and given a breathalyzer test, these are the numbers that someone is blowing in their these are the numbers that someone...
All right, we got a lot of initials in this class, so you need to know what these initials stand for. So just write down blood alcohol concentration, or BAC. Because when you read questions, they might ask you, how do you determine the BAC? You need to know what BAC is. In the same way they had the initials before blood alcohol by volume. So know what these initials stand for.
Would be registering when they take a breathalyzer. So law enforcement will charge with a DWI if the BAC is along the following lines. If someone is 21 years old or older, they would be charged with a DWI if their blood alcohol content is 0.08%. If they are driving a commercial motor vehicle, meaning for a business or a company, a blood alcohol content of 0.04% would be enough to be charged with a DWI. And if someone is younger than 21 years old, a BAC of 0.02% is sufficient to be charged with driving while intoxicated.
Okay. Write those volumes down. All right, so that's less than 10% for someone 21 years and older. About half that if you're on the job and trying to drink and drive. And even half of that for folks your age, anybody under 21 years old. Now that says New York State, but it's pretty much the same in Georgia. DUI is kind of standard everywhere.
So question check. At what minimum BAC would a high school student be charged with DWI? If you chose 0.02%, you would be absolutely correct.
Okay, so I hope you wrote that down and hope you know. So I know y'all are perfect citizens. You would not get caught drinking and driving, but just know it doesn't take much for you at your age to get a DWI.
So that's it for our unit on toxicology. We're going to be having you look at a few special cases here and there. We've already had you look at a case that dealt with arsenic. You've been doing some research about a famous poisoning case and some common poisons that are used. We're going to actually have you also look at methanol poisoning and a couple of other historical famous poisoning cases.
Okay, so we're going to do that later, but what I want you to do today is to go back to Canvas and all right. And make sure that you have, like I said, we're going to have a short quiz on Wednesday. So make sure that you take note of these types of tests. They're color tests, confirmation tests, and ways to collect evidence. When you finish reading that, so I'm going to give you about 15 minutes to do a little reading. I also want you to go ahead and read the significance of these results and then go through this one where, okay. So do a little reading today. Go through these. And I will have a activity for you in a few. I'll stop sharing so I can do attendance. But please do read on this second page with the significance of results. You want to click on each of the pictures so that you can read the statistics about drug use. Okay. All righty. So let's say the next 15 minutes, read those over, and then I'll jump back in. Yep, all the people I was just about to mark absent. Okay, so everybody should be in Canvas. Good morning to those who I just let in. Everybody should be in Canvas. You should be reading the sections on toxicology. Like I said, we'll have a short quiz on Wednesday, so please read. Please be up on your vocabulary. Some of y'all are logged in, but not doing what you're supposed to do. Everybody should be in Canvas right now. There's 2 activities on the significance, so please do those. All right, those who just came in late, we just finished watching the 3rd part of the toxicology video. All 3 videos are in the playlist in YouTube, so you can go back and watch those at any time. And I suggest that y'all watch them before Wednesday. Hmm. All right, good morning, Caitlin. We are in Canvas looking over the toxicology unit. We've done the first 2 already. Get the next 10 minutes of reading, and then I have an activity for you to do. Okay, hopefully you were doing the reading as requested. Um, you may need to refresh your page. I put a link in the chat as well as it's on the um, assignment page. So now it's on your to-do list, but the link for this is in the chat. So you're going to go to this link, and the link looks like this. It will take you to this page, and they have several cases in toxicology. So read the introductory summary, and then they have several cases for you to choose from. Scroll down and look at the whole list. Don't everybody pick the first one you bump into, but I want you to select one case study. So let's say I select this one. It'll open up, it'll give you a summary, but then you need to read through the entire article. And the assignment is asking you to summarize what you've read in 8 sentences. Okay, so give 8 points, give 8 summary points to one of the cases. Again, you're not reading all of the cases, you're selecting one. So if I go back, all right, so this is the link will take you here. So do an introductory statement, and then pick one. All of these blue headings are topics. Pick one. Look through and see if there's one that piques your interest. And then case studies, not these two down here. We're going to talk about this one later on. This one has a lot to do with chemicals that are in your water bottles. At least they used to be in the water bottles. They might have changed it because of this. We're going to look at this later. But I want you just to pick one of the case studies and uh, do a summary. So again, the link is in the chat as well as it's on the, you should be on your to-do list on your assignment page. Okay. All right. So that's what everybody should be doing now. And again, I'd appreciate it if you use class time to do class work. Some of you log in and do other things and try to catch up. You can stay current with this class and you won't be submitting late work all the time if you do this class during class time. So that means everybody should be clicking on the link, reading the introductory summary, and selecting one of the case studies. And again, don't just pick the first one you see on the list. Go down and actually find one that interests you. All right, so I got 5 people who are not doing it. Caitlin, Jada, you with us? All right, again, everybody should be clicked on the link that I put in the chat. It goes with the assignment that should be on your to-do list. So again, you might have to refresh in order to see it, but it should be on your to-do list. Read the introductory paragraph. Do an introductory statement as far one of your 8 points that you're summarizing with, and then pick one of the topics. Give a look through. You can read more than one. You're only required to summarize one, but you're welcome to read as many as you like. Xavier, are you with us? Jada. Again, you can read as many of the case studies as you like because they're really not that long. Do an introductory statement from the beginnings, paragraph, and then pick one. Now, each one has a summarizes the case, so don't just copy the summary. Remember, summarizing usually means in your own words, otherwise it's plagiarism. All right, I highlighted the two sentences in the second paragraph of the introduction, which are important to consider when you're looking at toxicology case studies. It said that they are all cases are unique. It means like not everyone is the same, which means that you have to enter each situation with fresh eyes. Okay. Circumstances, while they may follow certain standards, each case is unique. They're different. What holds true for one may not hold true for another. How a substance behaves in one person's body may not always be the same for someone else. Then they go on to talk about the dose, the exposure, the duration, the additives. All of these things play a part in the results of a toxicology case study. In fact, that is a wonderful quiz question. Excuse me, I'll be right back. Oh, don't forget to mention the case study that you selected. So give a title to your case study. Like Isaiah. Isaiah, I'm going to send yours back because I have no idea which one you did. Again, please give a title to the case study. Also, it should have in your summary, you should have a beginning, middle, and end. It should tell a story. Or you don't have to tell me in the chat. You need to put it on. When you submit your assignment in the assignment folder, it should be in the format of you have a title. What was the case study that you selected? You have an introductory statement, statements in the middle, and what was the final result of that case study? So it should have a beginning, middle, and end. Title, beginning, middle, and end. And again, if you finish early before class is over, feel free to read a second case study. You don't have to write another summary, but go ahead and read as many of them as you have time for. Like it says, every case is not the same. Every case has different circumstances and different results. Again, from the video that we watched, we learned that there are factors that will affect toxicity. And I'm going to stop talking so you can read. Again, before you submit, make sure you have a title and you have an introductory statement, you have a middle, and you have a conclusion. What was the conclusion to the case study? Maybe I need to put that in the directions. Okay, folks, if you have no questions for me, make sure that you have um, followed it, followed the steps I gave you. You have a title, uh, give some background information, say what happened in the case, and then have a conclusion statement. Make sure you have all of that. I actually had someone who came up with a really nice outline where they state the name and title of the case that you're summarizing, give some brief background information, explain how the exposure to the uh, chemical happened, including the dosage, duration, relevant information, summarize your symptoms, describe the steps taken by the toxicologist, uh, all of those, what legal outcome, and what was the final decision in the case. So those are 8 points right there. You don't have to follow all of that, but hopefully you included most of that. All right. So you all enjoy this lovely day. It's supposed to get springtime this week. I didn't see whether the Georgia groundhog saw his shadow or not, so I have to check on that. But you have a great rest of your day.